there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is AP from Gemini Syndrome, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's a huge honor and privilege to have Alessandro AP Paveri of Gemini Syndrome.
Paveri, yeah. Thank you, John. Hi, thank you.
So today, we're going to be talking to AP about all things AP. We're going to talk about like his musical influences coming over here and getting into, actual bands and things like that. And plus, we'll talk a little bit about Gemini Syndrome, of course, because we all like Gemini Syndrome. And if you don't, then I suggest you take a listen to this band because they can rip some ass, and that's for sure. So AP, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Everything is good. I mean, at least here in Nevada, seems that things are slowly going back to normal. So yeah, I'm happy, and hopefully there is not going to be any drawback from the situation we are in, because this past year has been like pretty rough.
Yeah.
I think for every musician, every touring musician, because that's where nowadays. That's where you make money. You make money on tour. It's like if you stay home, you don't really make money anymore. So yeah, this past year is not. It ain't been easy, but it's okay. We survived. It is what it is. We cannot change what's going on. I'm pretty sure the musicians are not the only one that they have been struggling for this. So there is other people too, for sure. Everybody. But yeah, I mean, we are gonna be We are going to be on the road in July. We're going to be on the road for a month and a half. And, we're excited and also a little bit curious about to see the turnout, because this is my opinion, okay? It can be really good or it can be really bad. I have no idea. Hopefully it's going to be really good.
Yeah, you are correct, my friend. A lot of people during this time have lost family during COVID, and it sucks, and I wish nobody had to go through anything like this. And it's also affected like the crew members of the bands and stuff, setting everything up, and that's hit them real hard too. And it's just been, it's just been one of them things. How can you adapt? Okay, it's like how am I going to adapt? Like you said, I hope this goes good. I hope this gets everybody back out and comfortable to want to get back out, because you know this just as well as I do, man. Things can be said on the news or anywhere to just make you so scared you don't want to get back out no more.
Exactly. I agree. Totally agree. So I don't watch the news because I don't want to get mad and I don't want to get frustrated. I'm like, yeah, obviously I pay attention. It's not that I'm like an alien and I don't. But I try to come up with my own idea about things, and try to not freak out too much, and we'll see. But like you said, yeah, it's true. I mean, it's not just musicians. All people in entertainment like industry, everybody who works with music or not, it's been tough.
So speaking of this, how did you adapt to this? Because did you find yourself doing anything differently other than working on music, such as collecting or catching up on anything? Or didn't you do some bass classes?
During this year, I mean, so I'm a kind of guy who I'm always very I write a lot and I have my studio at home. So every idea I have, I track it right away, I record it right away so I don't forget, blah, blah, blah. But it's somehow during this year, I haven't been very, very creative like I've always been. Maybe because I wasn't really in the mood, maybe because you get creative when, I kind of feed when out, I see people, I play in front of people, and I'm doing things, okay? And I'm like, being home all the time like this hasn't been really, it didn't really stimulate my creativity. I mean, it's not that I didn't do anything for a year. I did something, but not the way some people would expect. Oh, they're gonna stay home, they're gonna write like 2 records, and then they're gonna. I'm sure that for some people it was like that. For me, not really. I kind of focused on survive and try to make some money. I do bass lessons, you know. I do like extra work, or I do sessions and stuff like that. Honestly, I've been a little more worried about paying my bills than write new music for whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I think it was also because of the situation that was really stimulating me.
Did this allow you to sort of recharge the batteries, if that makes sense? I mean, you was going all the time with Gemini Syndrome on the road and constantly, touring and things like that. Did this allow you to just take a step back and finally just recharge and now have that extra drive that you needed?
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, when this thing happened, like more than a year ago at this point, the first, it was like April or May. Okay, lockdown, everybody stays home, no shows and blah, blah, blah. In my mind, I thought, well, I stay a couple of months at home, 2-3 months at home, and that's not going to be bad. Actually, I'm going to enjoy it. So at the beginning, I was like, I cannot say happy because people were dying, but I was like, maybe it's going to be good for me because I'm going to relax for a minute, I'm going to recharge, I'm going to get... So at the beginning, it was like that. And for some reason, even if a lot of friends of mine, they were telling me, listen, you're not going to be out until like 2022. If you're lucky, the summer 22 or maybe more. And in my mind, I thought, come on, guys. I'm going to be out like at the end of 2020. Like 2021, sorry. No, not 22. I said 22 before. So at the beginning, I was like, okay, well, I take a little bit of rest, I recharge my body. But then, after all this time, I mean, when I got into 6 months of staying home and just, what has been like very like kind of scary to me was like that you didn't really know. Am I going to be home like for other 6 months, another year and a half? How was it going to happen? It's like, what really scared me is like the unknown. It's like you don't know when you are going to be able to start working again. Because, I mean, we go on tour, we play music, people is happy. We are happy too. It's work for me. It's like it's work. That's how I pay my bills and how I do all my things. So it's like you're gonna be on the road. Maybe we don't know. And I'm like, oh well, this is not gonna be fun anymore. So yeah, it's. Now I'm extra recharged. Now I'm like I mean we are all like it's time to go, guys. So because we didn't even know about this tour coming up until like a couple of months ago, because once what we did is like once they announced the festivals again, the same of last year. So we've been confirmed for all this festival again. So then we thought, okay, so if we're doing the festival, we shouldn't go all the way back east to play a couple of festivals and come home. We should like try to build something. So that's how this tour happened in July. We are routing to Uphill Rock Fest, and then we are coming back, and we're playing show on the way and on the way back. And I don't know. Some people told me it's too early. Some other people told me no, it's gonna be awesome. And I'm like, I don't know. We are going no matter what.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're going. I'm not gonna stay here and living in fear anymore. Also because I mean, this is what I think about this virus thing, this COVID. So this virus here is not gonna disappear all of a sudden. This is something that we would probably have to deal. I mean, at least for what I understood, maybe forever. It's not gonna like the influenza or any other virus that came up in the past. This is like the new reality. So we need to accept it, and be smart. If you are, I mean, I don't consider myself like an individual at risk for this virus. And even if I get sick, I don't think I'm gonna die. But there is other people that, you know, if they get sick, they already have problems. They're not gonna have a good time. So my idea is like, if you think you are like at risk, if you want to stay home and be like, do your thing, okay? Nobody forces you to do anything else. The rest of the people should be able to go back to normal, okay?
Mm-hmm. I agree with that 1,000%.
You know, we cannot live in fear forever. This is being tough. You know, it's been tough. People need to go to work, do whatever they have to do, and to start living again. Because otherwise, it's not going to change.
So, AP, what made you want to become a musician, man? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, I want to try this?
Okay, so when I was in my teens, I think I was around 12 or 13, I always liked music. My mother, she's into me. She's always been into music. No one in my family played an instrument. No one. My father is not really into music. He's not really. It's not that he doesn't care, but it's not his thing. My mother, yes, she's always been. So, and then at some point when I was like 12, 13, I made this friend of mine, and who was listening to heavy metal at the time, like talking about like Iron Maiden, like power metal, like in the 80s, you know, Halloween, all the European stuff, or Merciful Fate, all that kind of stuff. So he was a big friend of mine. He was a very close friend of mine. So I started to listen to heavy metal too, and he was a singer. He was playing already, and and after a little while, I was like, man, I think I can play guitar. I think I can do it. I mean, I like it. I think I can do it. And because at the beginning I wanted to start with guitar. The guitar was my thing. I want to play guitar. Then this friend of mine was like, you should. Well, why don't you play bass? And I'm like, well, why should I play bass? I was like, because there are not many bass players. If you play bass, chances you're gonna get in a band are like more than if you play guitar, because guitar players are everywhere. Bass players, no, really. I mean, there are a lot of guitar players that then they switch to bass to get gigs and blah blah blah, but they are guitar players playing bass. I think it's different. I mean, I'm not judging anyone, but if you start with bass, if bass is your instrument and you can understand how bass should work in a band and what should do and what shouldn't, then I think the sound of a band is gonna be different than a guitar player who jump on bass just because they need it, and then I'm gonna try, because I see those guys like a lot. And don't get me wrong, I understand the situation and props to them. Okay, I'm not judging, but from my point of view as a bass player, I like to listen to the bass in a different way. I like to listen to the bass in a more like how can I say, organic kind of vibe in the band, and not just.
It's like a spiritual thing between you and your instrument, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is. You grow. I started playing. I was like 15, and now I'm like 30 years later. So I kind of grew up playing. I grew up playing, and things always change. You have a different approach to music, to your instrument. There is always stuff to learn. You're never done. So you can always improve yourself. You can always understand new things, especially playing with other people, different people, not just with your band. Like playing with other people can open your mind, and it teaches you a lot of things in many ways,
So look at it this way, though, man. He was right. He told you, he laid you down the right path, because look, you're in Gemini Syndrome. So,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So how was
that's right.
How was the rock scene in Italy and maybe even Europe at the time when you were over there, man?
So consider that I started playing like in bands and trying to do my thing. I was like around like 17. And I was, because I'm from Milan, but I spent like my teens with my mother, because my parents, they divorced when I was like 11, so I went with my mother. My mother moved from Milan, and she went to live like in a little town close to the sea, close to Genova, by the beach and stuff. So there was not really a lot going on there, not a lot. But that's where I started to play my instrument. I started there, and then like high school, college, you met like the first guys who are into the same thing you do. We start jamming. We put up our first little bands like during those time, and then just because I could tell that where I was, nothing was going on. I was like, man, if I stay here, I think it's never gonna get better, because here there is nobody is really trying to do this, and there were not even like clubs and stuff, It's like it was very difficult. So I went back to Milan. I came back to Milan, and I spent in Milan like the rest, pretty much the rest of my time until I moved to here to US. And I've been playing with some decent bands. They were like, we have a decent reputation like in Italy, and one other band and I was filling up for other bands. They were needing like a bass player, so I was doing that. Then I played guitar for another band. It was from England, but that was hardcore. Hardcore was a different genre. This was like beginning of the 90s. So I was doing my thing. Never nothing got very big. I would say nothing got really big to say, oh man, I was in that band, everybody's know. No, it wasn't like that. But Italy is it's a different country if you want to be a musician,
And you got great food, dude.
Oh, the food is the best.
Food, you're damn right. Yeah.
The food is the best. But if you want to be a musician, Italy was really like the best. It's not like there is no industry. There is clubs are not prepared for bands. It's not in the culture of Italians, like rock, Yeah, they go there and play big bands. They go there, but starting and try to make a living being a musician there is not very easy, especially if you're in the rock field. So at some point I got some opportunity in LA, and I moved to LA. I didn't really planning to move to LA, but I got a band. They were at those time of MySpace still.
Oh God!
These guys from LA, they reached out to me. I was like, hey, do you wanna come here and play bass in our record? We pay for everything. We pay for the ticket. We pay for where you're staying. You stay with us, and blah blah blah. The studio. So you just come here, do your thing, and then you go back. And I was on tour at the time with another band in Italy, and I said, oh man. Yeah, I mean, at that point, I've never been in U.S. Never. So I was like, oh, this is the time I can go and check it out. So I went. It was in L.A. I stayed in L.A. That was the first time I went to L.A. And I stayed in L.A. a month. During that month, I mean, after 2 weeks, I was already in my mind. I was like, I need to move here because I loved it right away. For many ways, for the music scene. I mean, the music scene wasn't really rocking anymore, like in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But you could feel that there was something going on that it wasn't going on in Italy for sure. I mean, all the record labels are there. Everybody plays. All the clubs have a PA. Everybody's organized. It's like if you are a musician, I think the best place to go if you are in the rock kind of field. I think LA, even if now it's dead, and the scene is there is not really scene right now, but I think it's still the best place to go.
I've interviewed several bands from Italy in the past 2 years, and I mean, there've been several, and they have said the same thing you have. They're like, look, we put the band together, and we bust our ass off just to get a show next door. To get people to come, and they're like, we have to get out of here, and we're just trying to find somebody to latch on to us to give us that opportunity. And I'm just sitting there going, the bands that I've interviewed, AP, their music has been phenomenal. I'm like, how are they not out of there?
This is the thing. In Italy, all musicians are used to struggle way more than American musicians just because of that. So the skill level of musicians in Italy is high. People, they play, they can play. I mean, they have been boosting their ass for years and years. But unfortunately, they need to understand that if they really want to follow the route, if you really want to put everything they have for their band, for their dream, for their whatever that is, they need to get out of there because nothing is going to happen. The only band who made it from Italy that I know and they deserve it all is like Lacuna Coil. Lacuna Coil is the only band. They are from Milan too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only band that they made it like internationally. They come here on tour all the time. They made it, but they are the only one. Maybe there is another band that they do like some kind of, I don't remember the name. They do some kind of progressive style. Labyrinth, maybe Labyrinth are from Italy. I don't remember. There are other couple of bands that they made it like internationally. But if you stay there, it's sad to say, but nothing is gonna happen. You know, you need to gather your stuff and get out of there. And I know it's not easy. It's not for everybody. Nothing is like granted. You leave, but who knows what's gonna happen. But it's a life choice. You know, if you are happy to stay there, you wanna stay there. Okay, stay there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are not happy, I mean, that's my situation. I was like, I'm not happy. I'm just not happy. Beside the music thing that it wasn't like really like picking up. Beside that, I wasn't happy in Italy because I'm like, you know, Italy is beautiful, but it's a very conservative like country. You know, it's a very conservative. There is the Pope there, and don't get me wrong, everybody can believe whatever they want. I'm not gonna touch the religious thing right now.
Sure, yeah.
But you know that kind of, you know, the mentality of the people, they are very old school, very conservative. If there is something that is a little different from what they are used to see, what they are used to, what they think is right or not, if it's something they don't understand, it's automatically wrong. If they don't understand, they don't, you know, the majority of the people, it's not like, oh, I don't understand. Let me try to understand. Let me take some. No, if they don't understand, it's wrong. You know, so I got to the point and I'm like, you know what, I'm out of here. Music, no music, whatever. I'm just done. You know, I just want to live in a place where I'm myself. I do my thing. I don't bother anyone, but just let me do my thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So that's, you know, their reason is, I put their reason at the same level of the music when I move. It's not like that was another thing that really pushed me to say bye-bye. There is not just music, but also like daily life. You know, I go to the supermarket and nobody square me like I'm an alien or like stuff like that. I'm like, I just want to live my life, man. Just leave me alone. No, you know? To me, everybody can pretty much do whatever they want as far as they respect other people. They don't kill other people. They don't do bad things to other people. You know, but you can dress up the way you want. You can believe whatever you want. Just respect other people. There are many ways to live your life. There is no only one, you know.
I thought this was really odd when I started researching this, and man, LA used to be the scene. I mean, LA used to be ripping, and now it's like everybody's going to Vegas and living, and now Vegas is the new scene. So let's talk about that. How is that out there now compared to what it used to be?
I mean, so LA, when I moved to LA, it was 2007, and there wasn't really a lot going on, but there was still something going on. You could tell, okay? So I moved there during a time that the economy wasn't really good, so all the prices of rent and all those stuff like dropped. So for me, it was easy. It was easy to find something, okay? So I moved there. I found my way. It was easier. Then the economy came. The economy came back. Everything's like kind of got back like the way kind of was, and everything started to get like super expensive. But that's not the reason why I moved, because I'm actually where I was living, I had rent control, so my rent wasn't ever gonna go up. But you know what I'm saying is that like the main reason why a lot of musicians are moving, it's because, of course, the price of the living in LA. You know, it's really expensive. It's really expensive, and you know, if with the same money you rent like a studio in LA, you can have a 3-bedroom house here in Vegas. You know, it's like with the same money. So from my point of view, like what we do right now is like we write a record, we put a record out, and we're going to. We write a record, we put a record out, and we're going to. I don't need to be in LA anymore. At the beginning, yes. At the beginning, I needed to be there because I need to find people. I need to make contacts. I need to kind of figure out things, you know. Now we actually don't need to be there anymore. That's why we all moved here. Aaron was the first one moving here like years ago. Then Brian, and then I'm the last one. I moved here like of the band members of the band. I'm the last one. Actually, it's funny because I used to say I hate Las Vegas. I hate it because we were already coming here playing like years ago. It's always during the summer, and the summer here is brutal. I mean, I don't think I will ever get used to it. So it's so hot. It's so hot that it's like all triple digits all the time. And I used to say, man, I would never move here. This is stupid. Why would you move in the middle of the desert? This is like crazy. And then I ended up here too. So it's like, but you know, it's like I can see like the benefits of being here, at least for me right now, for the band. But a lot of musicians are doing the same thing. There are a lot of people is moving here, a lot of people is moving to Nashville just because, you know, California, between taxes and all that stuff. I mean, unless you were born there and you own a property, so you don't have that kind of problem, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm Italian. I'm an immigrant, you know. I don't have my life is not really easy for some kind of things, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't own anything, so for me, I kind of have to figure it out, you know. I mean, Vegas for them matter, it's easier for sure.
I know you've been playing bass for a very long time, AP, but would you like to incorporate or learn something new as a musician, man? Do you ever see yourself not growing, or do you see yourself musically still growing?
I think you know, you always grow. You know, you always, like, for example, when you go on tour, you always like kind of watch the other band, you see what they do, see the gear they use, you see what genre they play. You know, you are always watching, pay attention to stuff like that. What I can say is that if when I was younger, I was like a very strictly metal guy. I was just listening to metal or rock or whatever. That was my only thing. Now I'm like, now that I listen to whatever else, but metal is not really what I listen like every day. If I have to, you know, I like everything. I mean, music at the end of the day is something that you should be able to listen when you are in your car. It puts you in a good mood. It makes you like start tripping in your mind and have a good time. You know, have a good time, or remind you like things you have done in the past. Remind you like a time of your life that you really loved, or even a time of your life you really hated, but still there, you know. But any kind of music, you know, not just rock music, can be like even pop music, like whatever, you know. The only genre I've never been into, and since I was a kid, is like reggae. Reggae is the only music that doesn't move me like zero. I mean, I'm sorry for Bob Marley, but yeah, that's the only genre that doesn't speak to me.
Yeah,
it doesn't speak.
Hey, you know, all music's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's what I like, man. You know, you like your own thing, and people move on and go on, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're watching these bands live, though, that you've not got to see, what is it about them that draws your attention to them? What is it for you to keep following and keeping in touch with these bands like that, AP?
You know, like I'm still a big fan of the big bands of today. The big. I'm talking about Korn, Deftones. You know, big bands like Disturbed. All those bands, they are all bands that they were like, they started like during the 90s, middle of the 90s, you know. I'm still a big fan of those bands, and I consider myself lucky that sometimes I can play with these bands, and I still watch them like with the same eye I was listening to them like years ago, you know. For me, are like the essence of the best you can do in that specific genre. Because honestly, if you talk about new music, new bands, or like in the past decade, I don't know. Maybe I don't pay a lot of attention, but I cannot really name like a new band that really how can I say, really impress me. But it's not. This is not about playing, because I mean, if you are in a band and you are touring, like that's the minimum requirement, that you are a good musician and you can play. So that's. I mean, everybody's good. Everybody is a good musician. Okay, there are like millions of good musicians, and there are millions of better musicians than me. I mean, when I listen to a band, I listen to what they have to say. I listen how they say it, and I listen also musically. What if they have their own sound, something that I play in my stereo. If I turn on the radio and something come up, I say that, oh, this is boom, this is that guy, this is that, because they have their own thing going on. Okay, so that's what I appreciate in a band of any time, of any time, even Black Sabbath. I mean, it's the same thing, it's only them that they sound like that. They play their way,
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, during these past 10 years, I cannot really name a lot of bands. Now, I mean, if I stay here and I think about it, I will probably come up with something. But like right away, like this, I'm like, man, no one really impressed me as much as those bands were impressing me, like in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
And also, I mean, we are getting to the point that almost everything has been done.
Sure.
So now it's also, now the technology is getting crazy. Where guitars are getting crazy. So now at some point there is gonna be something that is gonna like start a new trend for sure. I don't know who, I don't know when, but at some point something is gonna happen. But right now I think everything is being pretty like stagnant where it was,
Yeah.
But I mean, there are still a lot of good bands. I like a lot of good bands, like a lot. But I don't think we are doing like we are progressing as like the progress we did between the 70s and the 80s, and the 80s and the 90s. That didn't happen the past 20 years.
And especially, yeah. Like especially now in this day of age, it's so hard for bands even to get out there. But because you've got everything that's out on the internet now, and it's so hard for a band to stick out. So
exactly, when I was a kid, for me the only way to buy a record when I was a kid, it was getting into a train, stay like 30 minutes into a train, get off the closest like major city, walk to the record store, and hoping that there was somebody there that I could like. That for me, that was the only way for me to discover new music and to go and buy music.
Wow.
Now it's a different time. Now all these kids, and maybe I mean it's easier. They just open their laptop. They just start to and they can buy one song out of the record. They can just listen without even buying. It's a different world, man. It's a different world. I'm an old school guy, so I miss the old time. I'm a school. I still like. I think they were the best time of my life. I was finding out things. I was like growing up and like searching for things. It was more mysterious. There was more.
Yeah.
You had to put more. You had to put more work. Either like for finding bands, for finding like before like you were buying magazines, that kind of stuff. Now everything is like right there in a second in your phone. So,
yeah.
But I'm not blaming. This new generation. I mean, that's all they know. That's all they know. For them, it's normal for them. You talk to a kid, 15 years old kid right now is gonna tell you, well, I don't know what to tell you. It's, I was born right now, and that's how it is. So they don't even know how it was, So, and probably, once we all die, the kids of these kids, they're probably living another different reality. So things are always changing. And I just hope that the technology at some point is not gonna do everything, and like the human touch is gonna disappear.
Oh yeah.
Because there are already signs of, I mean, you can make a record today without even being like the great of musicians if you want, if you know how to use the right tools, So that's already a sign that it can get really weird, It can.
That mystique and mysterious of the bands that I used to like going to the grocery store or the pharmacy and picking up the hit paraders and circus magazines and looking at like Guns N' Roses, for instance, man, and Poison and bands like that. When you looked at Guns N' Roses at that time when I was a kid, I was like, this is a badass band. I don't want to fuck with them. You know what I mean? And now it's like, it's like, we're having cheeseburgers today for dinner. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Oh.
Yeah. And those guys, I mean, back in the day, there were no Pro Tools or stuff. You had to play. There is no trick.
Exactly.
You play, you rehearse it.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go out. Now, I mean, even us, when we write, it's not like we have to be all in the same place. We can send stuff to each other and do back and forward. And, I did this, can you do this? And we don't even have to see each other. So for some, it can be good, but it can get like too much, and then you have to pay attention. That's all I'm saying.
What do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear, AP, while listening to any of Gemini Syndrome's music in general? What do you hope they get from it, man, when they start to listen to it?
Well, I mean, I hope we have even if it seems that the message is not, because it's heavy music. Sometimes, because Aaron is a very good writer when it comes to lyrics, and there is always a good message behind every song, So it's not sometimes some words they people kind of think that they misunderstand the meaning of some music. So I will hope that if you listen to us, you first understand the message, that's for sure, and and I hope that you can find the band somehow his own sound. We try to sound like us. Now, if we are so successful with that or not, that's not on us to say that. We are trying to do our thing. We're trying to do our thing, and that's what we're trying to do. And try, if you come to a show, we just want people to be happy, to enjoy the show, to have fun, and all that kind of stuff.
I know you had a lot of music growing up, and I know you like a lot of music still to this day, but do you have a go-to album or maybe just a song still to this day that affects you as far as giving you inspiration or just letting you escape for a while? Because I know we all go through it, AP, but do you have that still today possibly?
Oh man, if I listen to Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets of Metallica, I mean, for me, I always enjoy to listen to that kind of music. It's always something I enjoy. And the more I grow up and I get older, and the more I go back to listen to old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's I like old records. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of new production I love too. Don't get me wrong. I like modern sound. I'm into that a lot. But in a nostalgic way, I like end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, everything that was going on. I'm a big Korn fan. So the first 4 Korn records for me, they were some of the best thing I ever heard during those time. So yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Looking back on your music career, if you haven't already, what's impressed you the most about seeing where you came from to now playing in a great band such as Gemini Syndrome, man, if anything, from coming from Italy over to here to having some success with music? What's it say about you, and have you ever thought about that so far?
Well, success is success. There are many different meanings for the word success. Success for some people can just be playing in a band that is relatively known or well known and be able to tour and and do that kind of stuff. For other people, success just means money. For me, success, at the end of the day, for me, success is being able to move, to do what I love to do, and to be able to keep going. I don't take anything for granted. I know it can be done like tomorrow if something go wrong. This is the thing. I have no control. You have no. When you are in a band, you really have no control. There are other people with you.
Mm-hmm.
If tomorrow morning everybody wake up and they are all pissed off and they're like, "Fuck this, I'm out." And I'm like, "Oh well, okay, I guess this is over." So success, is just to be able to keep going. I moved here. When I moved here, honestly, from Italy, I had no expectation. I moved here. My only goal was like make a living with music, no matter what kind of music. I was already like not even thinking about like, I'm gonna put up a band of the music I wanna play. We're gonna try to do this and that and then no. When I moved, I was like, okay, I'm going to LA. I'm just trying to work to find work as a bass player for any kind of work, either in studio, like sessions, for any kind of people that need. That was my goal, and that was what I did like for a couple of years. And then I met the guys. Then we put up the band, but that happened so quick. It happened like so quick, and we all kind of felt that it was a good thing to do, and we started doing that. And since we put up the band up, like we have always been doing just that. I remember like before like Gemini, I was playing with like, I don't know, maybe 6-7 gigs like every week between rehearsals, little shows here and there. It was good. I mean, I was doing okay. I was like, what? I was happy. It's not like I was happy. And then Gemini happened, and it felt good. Everybody kind of felt good doing that, and was like, what? Are we gonna try to do this like for real? And we were all on the same with the same idea, And we were like, well, we should do it. So since then, we have always been doing just this, with ups and downs. It's not easy, But yeah, going back to your question, for me, success is just being able to do what I love to do, and I hope I will be able to do it like until I die. And we'll see. But for me, that's success for me. It doesn't matter how many records you sell. It doesn't matter how many money you make. It's just what it matters that you do. What you wake up in the morning and you have to go to do something you are proud of and you enjoy to do. It's not. That's all. That's all. You need to enjoy what you do.
When can we expect anything new from Gemini Syndrome to come out, man? When are we looking at?
Yeah, now we have 3 new singles out. One was out in December, the other in February, and another one in, I think, March or maybe April. One is Reintegration, IDK, and Die With Me. These are 3 new singles from the new record. They've been out for a little bit. And the record is going to be out, this year, sometime this year for sure, because the record has been done for a long time, but just because of the pandemic, we didn't really put it out. We were like, no, we wanted to wait. We wanted to wait and trying to, I don't know, it didn't feel right. So we waited. But yeah, the record is going to be out sometime this year. I don't know. That's record label things that they still have to decide. There are two dates in mind, but nothing is like for sure. So no, but it's definitely this year.
Folks, if you're going to get out and check out Gemini Syndrome, I suggest that you do. They're going to be on tour, and they're also coming to Louisville, Kentucky, at the Diamond Concert Hall on August the 7th. And these tickets are it blows my mind on how much tickets are. Tickets are $18. The day of the show is $20. $18 to see a kick-ass band, and you will not be disappointed when you see these guys, because they put on one hell of a show. And I'm not saying it just because AP's on here. It's just the God's honest truth. Some of these bands, you get your money's worth when you buy a ticket to see them. And this is one of these bands. if you get a chance, please check them out. If I'm off work, I'm going to try to go for sure, because I definitely love Gemini Syndrome, and I like supporting these guys. So, AP, how can folks stay in touch with you or Gemini Syndrome, or just to tell you hi, man, or talk tattoos with you or anything music? How can they do that?
I mean, website or Instagram or Facebook. You can find all the information you need on those platforms. Like our website should be like GeminiSyndrome.com, and Instagram like Gemini Syndrome, just the name of the band.
Yeah, just type in Gemini Syndrome, guys. Just type in Gemini Syndrome. That's all you got to do. It'll pop up everywhere.
Yeah. Just Google it.
Yeah. Hey, before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show, AP?
Yes. Hey, what's up, guys? This is AP from Gemini Syndrome, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour Podcast. Get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link. Please subscribe to the YouTube link and give us a like and subscribe, folks, because you won't be disappointed. And also check out Gemini Syndrome. Give this band a good fair shot, and I guarantee you'll like their music. So, AP, man, thank you for the interview, and thank you guys for your music as always.
Thank you, John. Thank you, and I will see you around, okay? Be good.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.